I'm not. I kind of hate when people say I'm a spiritual person, because it's sort of become the buzzword of like I don't like the Catholic Church anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my experience, for the people I grew up around. I don't have much of a spiritual practice, which I know sounds kind of strange, but for somebody talking about spirituality, I think what I try to do is I feel like I'm living in, kind of like the Star Trek holodeck. What I'm looking at isn't real, and then I'm testing my own spiritual metal, my own belief systems in real time against what is basically kind of a satanic, dark video game. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying people don't die. I'm not saying that means I know what happens when you die. What I'm saying is I don't believe in my heart of hearts that what I'm seeing is an ultimate reality, that there's other levels of reality or higher sentient realities. So if you can kind of be in the video game, play the game, see how it works and see how it reacts, see what really matters, you achieve a kind of a spiritual transcendent kind of feeling, because you realize that the real power within is so much greater than the propaganda without. And having lived in the mainframe of American culture for, getting close to 30 years now, both as a subject and an observer, start to realize it's also kind of a rigged, kind of funny game. And most of it, really, and if anybody can follow what I'm trying to say, 99% of it truly isn't real. It's all happening in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
When you read about the news, you read about something tragic. Yes, that did happen. But 99% of what follows is totally in people's minds. The conception, they find the picture where the victim looked cute as opposed to the picture where they're holding a knife in their hand or something. It's all about shaping a reality that actually isn't real, because depending on where you are standing in the room, the reality can be taken many, many different ways, and a victim can be a perpetrator at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really funny how you talk about the holodeck, because I literally always say that, and I kind of like give myself little pep talks about I'm going to wake up in the holodeck, and the only thing I'm going to regret is, did I achieve everything that I came here to do? Was I enough of a badass? Did I bow down to fear? Or did I, march on and remember that this reality it's all malleable. It's not real. So Billy, what do you think? I mean, evolution is kind of happening through us in real time. God is experiencing itself through all of us individually. Of course, we're all unique, but we all are sort of a collective. But what do you think it is? Is it a matrix? There was an article that we had a couple weeks ago. I forget who this guy was, some sort of physicist. Of course, I lost my article. But he talked about how our reality was actually some sort of an alien a hologram designed by aliens. This was a NASA scientist. So what do you think about those kind of theories?
I kind of subscribe to the theory. I guess it's kind of more quantum, and the true nerds out there can argue with me. But in my mind, it's sort of quantum, which is that your belief actually shapes the experience or what you're perceiving. And God, in its magnificence, doesn't limit itself to one world or one perceptional world. So in essence, Leanne McAdoo in Austin, Texas, may be experiencing a completely different reality than Billy Corgan, and yet we're sharing some other kind of morphed reality between our own conceptual realities. In essence, maybe there's more than one thing happening, or maybe there's a million Leanne McAdoo's experiencing a million things at the same time. I sort of kind of fall more into that camp of what you think or what you believe or what you want to see is kind of what you get.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's sort of the metaphysical thing, that reality doesn't even exist if you're not looking at it. It only exists when you're actually paying attention to it, giving it energy, acknowledging that it's real. And there can be so many different realities going on, which is, kind of why you have people saying that we do need to fight with love and love everyone and we're one. But how do you kind of counter that argument? Yes, we do need to be loving and love everyone, because we are all made up of the same God material. We come from the same source, while at the same time acknowledging that perhaps there are people, like you said, your analogy on the football field, there are some people that are on our team, some people that are not on our team. How do you reconcile that? Do we lose? Sorry.
Well, if anyone's ever studied Course in Miracles, which I think is a very interesting book as far as perceptual reality, the core idea in that is that you are responsible for everything that's happening. In that sense, you're part of a bigger mind, and you cannot separate yourself from your enemy. And I guess maybe this even goes to the core of when Jesus said, turn the other cheek, that in essence, you're not turning away from an enemy, you're turning away from your own darkness or something. So I think we've all kind of faced that existential question, which is, what would I do if I'm a pacifist? Like, I like to think of myself as a natural pacifist. What does a natural pacifist do when faced with a true aggressor? And I faced many aggressors in many, many forms throughout my life, from physical to psychic attack to people ganging up on me on social media because I didn't say the right thing at the right moment. In fact, recently I posted a thing that really touched me. It was a story I found on social media somewhere about a 73-year-old veteran who kind of was standing near a cop car when the guy was pumping gas. And the cop said to the old man, like, "What are you doing?" And the guy said, "Well, I'm a veteran. I'm standing guard for you, so you don't have to worry about your back when you're turning to pump your gas." And I found myself crying because I thought those are the kind of men that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. I didn't take it as a
political
pro-police or pro-military, to me it was just touched my heart that this man wanted to protect this police officer in his community. And I posted it on the Smashing Pumpkins Facebook account, and here comes the haters, because God forbid I'm not lining up in some political, channel. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I'm going with all this. All I'm trying to say is that if you can have compassion for an aggressor at sort of your roots, that is, if somebody's so out of their mind that me posting an article that just touched my heart, and I said this made me cry when I read it. If somebody needs to go out of their day to write something negative about something that's just such a simple human act, the appropriate response from a spiritual point of view is to have compassion for them, because their lives are obviously very, very small. And then and to be self-critical, when I find myself attacking others, there's obviously something small in me, or I wouldn't be attacking them.
This is the beginning of the long march against tyranny. We are running the biggest special we've ever run that we started running Wednesday. Most of the specials will continue through the weekend. A lot of things are about to sell out. The purchases, whether it's the supplements or whether it's a Hillary for Prison shirt or whether it is a film or a book on any subject of geopolitical import you can imagine, your purchase of these high-quality products is what makes this operation possible. We have the amazing nootropic as building blocks that your brain needs. 20% off all Pro Pure water filters. 20% off all Alexa Pure air filters. We already have the lowest price on all this. 30% off all Survival Shield X2. And I want to salute and thank everyone who has been taking advantage of this sale, who have been wearing the Hillary for Prison shirts. You're making the news around the country. You're showing the power of grassroots activism, even if they flip on the internet kill switch of how we're going to resist at the grassroots level with information warfare. No one's ever stood up to them. All we're doing is standing up. You stood up with us. Your funding is essential. Thank you.